What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another crime story video. Today we are reading The Murder of Skylar Neese. Before we get started, I just want to give a massive thank you for helping me reach 100 subscribers. It means a lot. Down in the take a moment to go to the descriptions, look for my Twitter link, click on it, and click the follow button. I'm trying to reach 1K within the next 5 to 6 months. If we can accomplish that goal, I will be doing a 2,800 V-Buck giveaway. Also, I got 2 more videos planned, one being a food tasting video, and one being a Fortnite video. Expect both of those within the next 1 to 2 weeks. With that said, let's jump right on into this video. Skylar Neese grew up near Morgantown, West Virginia. She was an only child with a bubbly personality, an honor student with a part-time job at Wendy's, and an active social life. A typical high school girl. Skylar spent most of her time with her 2 best friends, Shelia Eddy and Rachel Shove. Skylar and Shelia had been best friends since the 2nd grade. When they got to high school, they met Rachel, a former Catholic school student, who turned this dynamic duo into a trio. As the old saying goes, three's a squad. Rachel and Shelia grew closer, and Skylar began to feel pushed out of the group. Shelia and Rachel were rumored to have a secret lesbian relationship, and Skylar had witnessed to Rachel and Shelia drunkenly hooking up at a sleepover. Rachel and Shelia worried that Skylar would expose their secrets, and so the 2 girls decided in the spring of their sophomore year that Skylar needed to die, and they began to concoct a plan to end her life. Rachel was scheduled to go away to church camp for 2 weeks in July. They decided they would carry out their plan before she left. Skylar returned from her job at Wendy's around 10 p.m. on the night of July 5th, 2012. She kissed her parents goodnight and retired to her bedroom for the evening. A few hours later, she climbed out her bedroom window and into the car of her best friend, Shelia Eddy. Skylar planned to spend the evening joyriding and smoking pot with Shelia and Rachel, as they often did. She had no idea what these girls, her trusted friends, had planned for her that night. The trio drove northwest for about 30 miles and drove back a 1-lane road in a wooded area just across the state line in Pennsylvania. The girls were familiar with this area and would sometimes come back here at night to hang out and smoke pot. They walked a short way into the woods to smoke, then told Skylar that they had forgotten a lighter. As Skylar turned around to head back to the car and retrieve it, Shelia and Rachel counted to 3 and then stabbed Skylar with knives they had concealing under their shirts. Skylar fought back at one point, wrestling the knife away from Rachel and slicing her in the leg, but the 2 girls were able to quickly regain the upper hand and stabbed Skylar to death there in the woods. The girls had planned to bury Skylar, but they found the ground to be too hard and rocky for them to dig. Instead, they covered her body with sticks and rocks and left it at the base of a large tree. They would remain free for half a year, staying active on social media and proclaiming their innocence. Tomorrow, we will talk about the following months leading up to their arrest. Yesterday, we told the story of the best friends Skylar, Shelia, and Rachel. After Skylar witnessed a drunken hookup between Shelia and Rachel, they decided that she had to be silenced. They lured her into the woods and stabbed her to death. The afternoon after the murder, Skylar's father returned home to loan her his car so she could go to work. He saw the bench that she had left outside of her bedroom when she snuck out of the night before. He called Shelia to see if the 2 girls had been out together. Shelia said that they had talked on the phone around midnight, but that she had not seen her. Shelia called Skylar's parents back and confessed that she and Skylar had snuck out together. She swore that she had picked Skylar up around 11 and dropped her off near her apartment again around half an hour later. That day, when Skylar failed to show up for her job, for the first time ever, her frantic parents called the police. Skylar's apartment building had a security camera, and the grainy footage showed Skylar sneaking out of her bedroom and getting into a silver car. Because she snuck out, the police did not issue an Amber Alert. They suggested to her parents that perhaps she had run away and would return in a few days. Rachel went boating with her mother and godmother the day after the murder. They both recall seeing a cut on her knee that day. She left the next morning for a church camp and was gone for 2 weeks. Police interviewed Shelia a few days after Skylar disappeared. The detective noticed that she seemed emotionless and also that she drove a silver car. In spite of these clues to Rachel and Shelia's involvement, the two girls remained free for the rest of that year as investigators worked the case. Shelia posted hundreds of tweets during this time. Slowly but surely, investigators were able to identify lies that Rachel and Shelia had told and poked more and more holes in their timeline of that night. Many in Morgantown believed that Rachel and Shelia weren't telling the whole truth. They often taunted the girls on social media, where both had retained an active presence. In December, Skylar's mother called them out in a lengthy Facebook post, begging them to tell investigators what they knew about Skylar's disappearance. A few weeks later, Rachel cracked. With the investigators closing in on her and the weight of a guilty conscience, she confessed to Skylar's murder on January 3rd of 2013. On January 16th, she led investigators to Skylar's bodies. Because she was so badly decomposed, it took until March 13th for Skylar's remains to be conclusively identified. Though she had confessed to the murder of her friend, Rachel Schoaf was allowed to walk free for 4 more months. She wore a wire for police and recorded conversations with Shelley in person and online. She also enjoyed her last few months of freedom, hanging out with her friends and taking vacations with her family, but she knew that end was coming. Shelley was arrested on May 1st, 2013. She was charged with first-degree murder. Initially, she entered a not guilty plea, but as her trial drew near, and with it the prospect of Rachel's testimony, she changed her plea to guilty. She is serving a sentence of 15 years to life. After Shelia's arrest, Rachel turned herself in and pled guilty to second-degree murder. She was sentenced to 30 years in prison, but both will be eligible for parole in 10 years. Today, both Shelia and Rachel are serving their sentences at Lakin Correctional Facility. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe and turn on post notifications so that we never miss another video. Once again, thank you for 100 subs, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace out.